degrees, and Dr. Wilcox is in the house. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Good. I'm up one versus Neil 0 with that last little ha-ha.
But I gave Faye from Peninsula Heating and Air one of your wipes yesterday because she came in and you could see where her glasses, and she wiped it off and put them back on with the rest and, oh, this works.
And it's nice to be able to provide those to people. You don't have to be patient. If you got foggy glasses, come on by the office. We have these wipes that we found through in the eye care community that work.
Yeah.
And so that's the trick. How do you keep from your glasses steaming up without ruining your lenses?
With the mask
some of these DIY things, you can use crazy stuff on your lenses, and then you ruin your expensive lenses, and these don't.
See, I would think, since you brought that up, I would think in my mind that if I have these glasses and they've got the lens with the stuff that darkens in the sun and all that stuff, I could pretty much wipe them with anything. No.
Not true.
But see, that's where
and that's fine, and that's fine. Just like anything else, there's knowledge and guessing. But some of these surfaces,
he was right on the verge of zapping me there.
Oh,
and then he went down the good road.
I'm trying to be a good boy today.
Okay.
No, that's not true. You just can't put anything on your lens surfaces, and so as far as these wipes go, they work. They do the job of keeping your lenses from fogging up,
and they clean them too.
And
They're
they don't
clear.
harm those sensitive surfaces with these anti-reflective coatings. But so last night I was leaving the office, and I asked one of my employees. I said, "I'm on the radio tomorrow. What am I going to talk about?" And she said, because this individual had worked for me and actually went to a big place across the river, and she said, Dr. Wilcox, you just have so much more technology than the other place I worked, the big place.
You do.
And so I figured today I kind of, before this Thanksgiving break and after these, 12, 14 radio talks we've had, kind of tie some things together. So last night, Neil, I sent you a number of short little emails. And the emails showed the differences, and with pictures. The emails show the differences in patients' poor eye health and vision. And it's by the use of the light, the red light, the near infrared light, the magnetic fields, the oxygen and ozone, the supplementation of, hey, you've got to get your biochemistry, your internal biochemistry in shape. And so this week we had a very significant finding in a patient who's been doing some of these things for just a week. And if when you have time, I know you looked at those pictures, a back of an eye that was victim of a life of smoking, heart disease, hypertension, vascular disease, with all these little hemorrhages and these little infarcts. An infarct is a stroke, and you can have them when you have them in your eye. I've said it 1,000 times. Your eye is your brain, and so you're having these little mini strokes in your.
What is it called? An infarct.
Infarct, and FARCT, and that's a backup and a lack of oxygen.
I thought
getting
that
places.
was in a car, but that's okay.
And so you can see in 1 week's time people employing some of this stuff and be willing to, as I say, stop stuff, take stuff.
So you're saying in 1 week's time of changing his life, everything looked better?
If you look at those pictures, you'll see the dates on them, and you'll see the difference there in a week. Now, that is not to be stated that I can always do that, or you can always do that for you. It's not about me. It's about the patient in the chair. And are they willing to, I stop, take, and do things. And this person successfully is on a good track. And we're going to keep a very close watch on her, taking care of her. She's coming in the office a couple times a week for the next few months for us to do exactly what we're doing to resurrect and her retinal health. And as her retinal health goes, her global health goes. So
now, I told you a number of weeks ago that a few years ago I ordered this thing for my sinuses.
Yep.
It's two red, they're about that long, and you put them up inside your nostrils and you turn on the red light.
Yes.
And it lasts about 90 to 120 seconds.
Yes.
That's all. My wife laughed at me again last night because I've been doing it regularly lately. What does the red light do?
Well, it's what you're doing is you're dosing yourself with energy, and energy is a broad term. The wires in your wall have energy. The sun has energy. A magnet has energy. Food has energy. So energy is a broad term. So you're dosing yourself with these little wavelengths, and you get these waves that are going. And if it takes a long time for the wave to cycle from up to down. That's a long wavelength. And if it's very rapid, like a microwave, that's a short wavelength. And so the red is a longer wavelength that's absorbed by our chromophores. So we have a plant. People are used to a plant having chlorophyll and making energy. Well, we do the same thing. And so our eyes and our brain and our cells absorb this energy, and we have these energy makers in our cells, trillions of these things called mitochondria. And so they need energy, just like this light bulb needs energy. They need energy. And when you give them the energy they need, then they can have optimal performance. And that optimal performance allows healing to happen. So it's a simple matter of giving a depleted energy system the energy they need in order to perform clean detoxify. I'll take
a simple red light.
A red light, and it's energy. And so, I use this one. If you close your eyes and you think of a warm, crackling campfire, all you can do is kind of internally get glow, and you're just thinking about the light, and that's red light. That's the beauty of these sepia tones, this energy that's calificent. It's just warming. It helps. So if you think about it just mentally, you go, oh yeah, that does feel good. And if you think about the blistering sun of the midday in the desert, and you kind of just quickly get exhausted, because the blue light, the high energy stuff, has a purpose, but it's a limited purpose. And so when you give, back to the question, you're giving cells that are dying, that are suffocating for energy, and you're giving them what they want so they can perform. And remember, we're turning over cells constantly in our body, and our eyes are metabolism pigs. Half of our brain or so is given to vision. Therefore, there's a lot of turnover. It's very important that we see so we can survive. And so we're constantly turning over cells because this horrible blue light's coming in, killing cells, because it's a lot of energy coming focused in the back of our eyes, focused into a spot. So if you think about a magnifying glass, how you can burn yourself, well, think about your poor macula, your fovea, where all this light is focused. So there's turnover. And the turnover requires that you have to start somewhere. So you have a cell that's healthy, then you got to break it down, and then you got to haul off the trash, and then you have to have the right DNA to the blueprints with the raw materials to make a new cell that works. And so anywhere along the way, if you don't have the right circulation, if you don't have the right power tools to build or destroy that cell and haul it off, disease ensues. Disease has general names called inflammation. And so what do we do all the time? We put, if you put, remember the gas with NOx, the old commercials, do you want gas with NOx? You have the gas, anyway, I was just passively going.
That one's gone over my head. I don't remember that.
So you want to burn things without exhaust. If you burn a car tire or kerosene or diesel, you get black exhaust.
Right.
If you burn straight alcohol, you have a blue flame and no exhaust. So you want to have in your body things when you metabolize that don't give you exhaust, negative exhaust or byproducts or waste products or the equivalent of inflammation. And then you have to have the spark. You have to have the spark plug. You have to have the energy to ignite these things so that they can perform their job. So many different players in this theater called health in the eyes and the retina. And so in come the trash taker outs, out they go, in come the builders of the cells, in come the blueprint guys with the DNA. And there's lots and lots of reasons why we can be screwed up. Because it requires this
If you were
theater.
a college professor,
Yes, sir.
You would have to hand out your notes because I couldn't keep up with you.
Sorry.
No, I don't mean right now. I meant if I were sitting there
Yeah.
taking notes, I'd be going, oh, my God, what did he say? What did he say?
Well-
but I want to remind everybody, when you're listening to Dr. Wilcox sometimes, I know you have a tendency sometimes to sit there and go, oh, my God. But if you just want glasses, if you just want contacts, he does that.
Yes.
He does that. Now, he may offer you other things and suggest other things, but the simple answer is, I just want my contacts.
Yep.
I just want my eye exam. All right, I need contacts.
Yes.
That's what I want. So keep that in mind when you're listening to him. But I've been to your office probably 3 times now. And the one time I went, I was very worried because I had a drooping eyelid, wasn't it?
Yes.
And sure enough, bam, we got that all straight. But and then the last time you gave me an eye exam and showed me all the things that we talk about in kind of an overview. He believes in the simplest form that everything that happens in your body affects your eyesight. And when you think about it, when you think about the fact that an abscessed tooth can severely affect your overall health, there's got to be logic behind what he's talking about.
You say that, and I have this one patient, and she's listening. Hello, how you doing? But she came in, and she had a what's called a chorioretinitis. So she had an inflammatory problem that was in the deep parts of the eye, little white fluffy spots in the back of her eye, which is much more significant than some superficial spot fire. So she had like the bog fire going on deep in the soil, hard to put out.
All right, let me interject a question.
Yes, sir.
Would a normal eye exam, normal eye doctor eye exam, have picked this up?
Well, should.
Okay. All right.
They should. No. So the interesting thing is, and this is, so she has this. Her eye is in trouble, and in the back of the eye, she has these white spots. And then I noticed in the back of the eye, her macula, the dark part in the middle, the bullseye, the spot, is supposed to be this darker, chocolatey kind of brownish kind of color, and that was true in her right eye. But in her left eye, she had this honey macula. It was this caramely honey, a much lighter color, and her vision was affected. And she also had her number 16 tooth, her upper molar was infected, and she had she was in the process of going through some things, and with her dental work. And so it's like, well, this is pretty simple. Your sick tooth is tied to your sick eye, where they're about an inch away, and so what did we do? We had her tooth managed. I believe we got some ozone in her ears. And then, but I've got pictures. I've got scans. I used all this fancy technology, and in 1 week's time, the white spots are 90% gone, and the brown pigment in the back of the eye is 80% returned, and it's documented. It's amazing. So what's going on is, and the interesting thing is, what happened is we have pathways where energy moves and things move in our body.
You didn't pull her tooth.
No.
Okay.
No. But we had that managed, so I sent her off to dentistry, but she also did some eye-related things. And in 1 week's time, you can see the repigmentation of the back of her eye. And I mean, there's not an eye doctor out there who doesn't go, "Holy cow! Wow, I didn't know the eye can do this." But the treatment of the bad tooth and locally and globally by the dental people and the eye side of it, she improved, and her eye is perfectly fine just a short time thereafter. So when you talk about the tooth, yes, it is related. It's related because it's close and things travel through your cells. And just like if you had a leak on the side of this wall in the top of the sheetrock, it's going to work its way down the sheetrock to the bottom part, and that's called your interstitium. But also it travels through these acupuncture meridians, and you go, "Oh my God, he said acupuncture." But the fact is, there is this pathway of things that happen along these pathways, and the Western medicine doesn't like talking about this. But all you got to do is Google acupuncture, and you'll probably get 24 million hits on Google or so. And last time I looked, but so we're all interconnected. And for someone, it's perfectly fine to be the person who says, "I'm an eyeball doctor," and I'm that, but I look at the eyeball, brain, body, gut relationship as I can and as you want me to.
We got a very simple question on Danny's Auto Glass and Mirror studio line. Will your anti-fogging wipes work on a camera lens?
I haven't tried it. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Okay.
And yeah, so sure.
$8 a box.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, they should. Yeah, because all it is, they have anti-reflective coatings on themselves, the camera lenses. So,
All right. Doc Wilcox is at the point. And again, if you need an eye exam, he is the man. And then, is it necessary for you to delve into everything he's talking about? That is your option when you go in.
It's totally patience and control. I'm just a willing vessel to help you out.
You constantly leave me amazed, I will admit.
Well,
and I said this before. When you first started coming in, it was like, oh, my God. You have overeducated me. I'm getting ready to open an eye exam place. No, I'm just, but you're amazing.
Thank you,
thank
Neil.
you.
And listen, next week is Thanksgiving, so one, God bless, and two, hide because they're out shooting turkeys right now. And,
is there any food that we eat on Thanksgiving that we shouldn't eat?
Well,
vision wise.
Well, the fact of the matter is, the cancer loves sugar. So just think about it, and it's not that people are supposed to deny themselves things, but at the end of the day, you get to decide for yourself. You're a brittle type 1 diabetic, and they do have a closer watch on what's on the buffet. And so I'm not going to enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy your feasting. It's just a problem is when people have Thanksgiving 3 times a day, 365 days a year, and that's where all these diseases come. So.
Doc Wilcox, have a wonderful holiday.